The first time I stepped into Amara's family home in New Jersey, I felt like I'd walked into another world. The air was thick with unfamiliar spices, and tapestries lined the walls, telling stories I didn't understand. I'm Jake, a regular guy from Ohio, raised on burgers and pizza. Amara, my fiancée, was the daughter of Indian immigrants, her life a vibrant tapestry of traditions I was only beginning to grasp. We'd been together 2 years, meeting at a Chicago conference where her laugh pulled me in like a magnet. But loving her and fitting into her world were two different things. That first dinner at her parents' house was about to prove it. Amara prepped me on the drive from Ohio. "Be open-minded," she said, her eyes flicking to me. "My parents are traditional. They'll expect respect." I squeezed her hand, grinning. "I'm a pro at charming parents." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. I should have seen the warning. Her mom, Priya, greeted us with a hug, her sari shimmering. Her dad, Vikram, shook my hand, his gaze warm but sharp. Inside, the house buzzed. Amara's sister, Neha, blasting music, her brother Rohan arguing with their grandmother, Dadi, in the kitchen. The smells hit me. Cumin, turmeric, something sharp. My stomach growled, but nerves twisted inside. I'd tried Indian takeout once, mild and Americanized. This was different. The dining table was a feast of colors. Curries, flatbreads, a steaming pot of mutton curry. Priya piled my plate high, explaining each dish. "This is rajma, kidney beans, and spiced gravy, and the mutton curry is my mother's recipe." All eyes were on me, expectant. I'm not picky, but spicy food and I don't mix. A bad taco truck experience in college left me wary. Amara whispered, "Try a little of everything." I nodded, forcing a smile. I started safe, dipping naan into the rajma. The flavors were warm, earthy, with a subtle kick. "This is amazing, Mrs. Sharma," I said. Priya beamed and the table relaxed. But then came the mutton curry, dark and glistening, its smell intense. I hesitated, my stomach already uneasy. Amara's encouraging nod pushed me to take a bite. The spices hit like a freight train, chili, cloves, something bitter. My throat burned, eyes watered. I forced it down, but my stomach rebelled. I set my fork down, face neutral. "Is something wrong?" Priya asked, her voice sharp. The table went silent. "It's great," I lied, reaching for water. Vikram raised an eyebrow. "Not that spicy, Jake." His tone was light but challenging. Amara jumped in. "He's not used to spicy food, Dad." Priya's face fell. "This is our tradition. Food is love, Jake. You don't like it?" I froze. "I have a sensitive stomach," I said, quietly. Neha snorted. Rohan smirked, and Priya looked hurt. Amara's hand tightened on mine, but she said nothing. "I didn't mean to offend," I said. "I just need to go slow." Vikram leaned back. "Respect is non-negotiable. Food is family. You reject our food, you reject us." Priya stood, walking to the kitchen without a word. Dadi muttered in Hindi, shaking her head. The rest of the dinner was tense, my bites of naan small and careful. As we drove to the hotel, Amara was quiet. "You could have tried harder," she said finally. "It's not just food, Jake, it's my family." Her words stung. The next morning, Amara's phone buzzed with a text from Priya. "Lunch today," she said. "Mom made paneer tikka, less spicy for you." Her sarcasm bit, but I nodded. "I'll do better." At the Sharma house, the mood was cautious. Priya handed me a knife to trim green beans in the kitchen. "Amara says you don't cook much," she said. "Cooking is love in our family." I nodded, slicing carefully. "I'm learning." Dadi shuffled in, taking the knife. "Too slow," she said, her hands quick. I felt like a kid who'd flunked a quiz. Lunch was milder. Paneer tikka, parathas, cucumber salad. I took a bite, the creamy cheese tangy but gentle. "This is great," I said, and Priya smiled. I asked about the dishes, trying to show interest, but Neha's eye roll when I mispronounced paratha stung. Dadi spoke up. "Food is memory, Jake. When you marry Amara, you marry her history." Her words hit hard. I was trying, but it felt like a performance. After lunch, a cousin, Arjun, handed me pan, a leaf-wrapped bundle. "A rite of passage," he grinned. I hesitated, remembering the curry. Amara whispered, "You don't have to." But eyes were on me. I chewed, the taste sharp, gritty, like perfume. My stomach lurched, and I spit it into a napkin, my face burning. The table erupted. Laughter, gasps. Priya's smile faded. Vikram's jaw tightened. "You don't like pan either?" he asked. "It's new to me," I stammered. Dadi muttered, "American," her tone sharp. In the car, Amara was distant. "They see you hesitating," she said. "It's like you're enduring us." I gripped the wheel. "I'm trying, Amara. I love you," she sighed. "I need you to love my world too." That night, I lay awake, replaying the weekend. The mutton curry, the pan, Dadi's words. They weren't just food or traditions. They were Amara's heart, and I was failing to reach it. Tomorrow was our last day, my final chance to prove I could belong. Back in Ohio, our apartment felt like a refuge, but the tension from New Jersey followed us. Amara was distant, her smiles rare, and I felt the gap between our worlds widening. I promised to try harder, but her words, "I need you to love my world," echoed heavy with expectation. I decided to start with food, the heart of her culture. If I could master that, maybe I could bridge the divide. One morning, I caught Amara scrolling through her phone, her eyes tired. "Let's cook something," I said. "Your mom's chana masala. Teach me." She raised an eyebrow, surprised. "You serious?" I grinned. "Dead serious." She smiled, a flicker of warmth, and we headed to the grocery store where she grabbed chickpeas, tomatoes, and spices, cumin, coriander, garam masala. "These are the soul of the dish," she said. I nodded, overwhelmed but determined. In our tiny kitchen, Amara was in her element, chopping onions with precision. She handed me ginger to grate, laughing when I fumbled. "Not bad for a beginner," she teased. As we cooked, she shared stories, rainy days with her mom's chana masala, her dad sneaking extra chili. The kitchen filled with warm, earthy aromas, and for the first time, I felt part of her world. The dish wasn't Priya's, but it was good, mild, rich, comforting. Amara's smile as she ate was a small victory. But the tension lingered. A week later, Amara got a call from her mom. I overheard her in the kitchen, her voice sharp. "Mom, he's trying. You saw him at lunch." A pause. "No, I'm not choosing him over you." She hung up, head in her hands. I sat across from her. "What's wrong?" She sighed. "Mom thinks you're not serious about us. She's worried I'm making a mistake." My chest tightened. "I'm trying, Amara. I ate the paneer, I helped in the kitchen. What more do they want?" "It's not about checking boxes," she said, her voice soft but firm. "They want you to love it, not endure it." Her words cut deep. Was I just going through the motions? I wanted to argue, but doubt crept in. "I'm doing this because I love you," I said. She looked at me, eyes glistening. "I need you to love my world too, not just for me, for you, The next day, I visited the Indian grocery store, a cramped shop where Meena, the owner, had become my guide. "I'm screwing this up," I told her. "Her family thinks I'm faking it." Meena's laugh was warm. "Find something in her world that's yours, Jake. Not for them, for you." Her words stuck. That night, I asked Amara to teach me more. She pulled up old family photos, her parents' wedding, Diwali celebrations, telling stories of lamps and firecrackers. I listened, feeling a spark of connection, not just to her, but to her history. I threw myself into learning. I watched Bollywood movies, practiced Hindi phrases, cooked dal and biryani. Amara noticed, her pride quiet but real. But the shadow of a family trip to India loomed. Neha emailed about it. 6 weeks in Delhi, Mumbai, and their grandparents' village. It's intense, Amara said, her eyes searching mine. You ready? I swallowed hard. I'm getting there. Her smile was cautious, but she nodded. We'll do it together. As Diwali approached, I doubled down, cooking paneer tikka masala one night, the kitchen a mess of turmeric and cream. Amara's eyes lit up. This is close to Mom's, she said, kissing me. But her mood shifted with another call from Priya. She's skeptical about you, Amara admitted. Thinks you're putting on a show. Frustration surged. I'm not, I said. I'm trying to be part of this. She sighed. I know, but they need to see it. The Diwali party in New Jersey was my chance. The Sharma house glowed with fairy lights and diyas, the air sweet with jalebi and firecrackers. I brought ladus from Mina's shop, earning a smile from Priya. Good choice, Jake, she said. The table overflowed. Biryani, samosas, butter chicken. I tried everything, even the spicier curries, my stomach's stronger now. This is incredible, I told Priya, and she nodded, pleased. The puja was harder. Sitting cross-legged, I fumbled with a match to light a diya, the flame flickering under drossy eyes. Careful, Jake, Dadi said, her voice sharp. The light is sacred. I got it lit, exhaling in relievo, but the weight of their scrutiny lingered. After, the party roared to life. Music, dancing, sparklers. I danced with Amara, her laughter bright, and shared a gulab jamun with Arjun, swallowing the cloying sweetness to cheers. For the first time, I felt part of the celebration. On the porch, Dadi pulled me aside. This is one night, Jake, she said, tapping her chest. Amara's life is every day. You must feel it here. Her words hit hard. Was I truly here or just performing? In the car, Amara squeezed my hand. You did great tonight. They saw it. But as we drove to the hotel, I wondered if one night was enough. I wanted her world to be mine, but doubt whispered, could I live it? Not just visit it? Winter in Ohio was gray, but the looming trip to India felt like a storm cloud. Amara showed me flights to Mumbai, her eyes bright but cautious. 6 weeks, she said. Delhi, Mumbai, my grandparents' village. You in? My stomach twisted. India was a world I barely grasped. I'm in, I said, forcing confidence. She nodded, but doubt lingered in her smile. I called Meena at the Indian grocery store, my voice shaky. 6 weeks in India, I'm freaking out. Her laugh was warm. Let it overwhelm you, Jake. Find something there that's yours. Her words became my mantra. Back home, I dove deeper, listening to Amara's Bollywood playlist, learning about Diwali myths, even trying meditation with a Hindi mantra. It felt awkward, but grounding, like touching something bigger. I cooked spicier curries, my stomach tougher now, and Amara's pride shone quietly. But tension simmered. One night, Amara snapped over a pile of dishes. This isn't a project, Jake, it's my life. Her words stung. I'm not treating it like a project, I said. I'm trying to love it. She softened, tears in her eyes. I need you to want this for you, not just me. I pulled her close. I'm getting there, I promise. We talked raw and honest about her fear of choosing between me and her family, my fear of not being enough. It wasn't perfect, but it was a step. June arrived and Mumbai hit like a wave, humid, chaotic, vibrant. Rohan met us at the airport, tossing our bags into a taxi. Welcome to the madness, he grinned. The city was a blur of honking horns, crowded markets, and colors that burned my eyes. Amara pointed out temples and cows, wandering streets, her excitement contagious. I clung to her hand, overwhelmed but determined. We stayed with her extended family, their house a whirlwind of voices and spices. Meals were intense, biryani, chaat, sweets that made my teeth ache. I ate cautiously, but I was starting to love it. The crunch of pakoras, the creamy kheer. Priya watched, her smile warmer each day. "You're trying," she said, and I nodded, grateful for the acknowledgement. In the village, the air was quieter, but the stakes felt higher. Amara's relatives were curious, some skeptical. Meals were simpler. Fiery curries, fresh rotis, a chili pickle that tested me. I ate, earning a nod from Vikram. "You're learning," he said. One night, a festival lit up the village square. Lanterns, folk songs, dancing. Amara pulled me in, teaching me steps. I stumbled, but the crowd cheered, and I laughed, feeling part of it. Under the stars, eating jalebi, Amara leaned against me. "You're doing great," she whispered. I smiled, but Dadi's words echoed. "Are you here?" The turning point came in Delhi at a family dinner. The table held tandoori chicken, dal, naan, and that mutton curry, dark and daunting like that first night. All eyes were on me. Amara's hand brushed mine, steadying. I took a bite, bracing for the burn. The spices hit. Chili, cloves, rich and complex. I chewed slowly, letting the flavors settle. It wasn't just food. It was Amara's history, her heart. "This is incredible," I said, eyes watering. The table cheered, Priya's smile wide, Vikram's nod proud. For the first time, I felt I belonged. On our hotel balcony that night, Delhi's lights sprawling below, Amara looked at me. "You're not just trying anymore, you're here." I took her hand. "I'm starting to get it. Your world, it's growing on me." She kissed me, her arms tight, and I knew I'd crossed a line, not just for her, but for me. The trip wasn't perfect. A stomach bug from street food had me cursing, and crowded trains tested my patience. But there were moments of magic. Amara praying at a temple, her face serene, sharing chai with Rohan, dancing with Neha at a cousin's wedding. Even Dadi softened, teaching me to roll a roti, her hands guiding mine. "Not bad, Jake," she said, and I grinned like I'd won a prize. Back in Ohio, our apartment felt small but home. Amara hummed a Bollywood song, unpacking. I hugged her, her warmth grounding me. "What's that for?" She laughed. "For believing in me," I said. "I'm all in. For you, for us, for everything." Her eyes glistened. "I see it now." Priya called a week later, her voice warm. "You surprised me, Jake. You looked happy in India." I laughed. "I was, Priya." That night, I cooked chana masala, naan, and lassi. Amara set the table, her smile bright. "I was scared you'd never get here," she said, squeezing my hand. "But you did." I nodded, my chest full. "I'm here, and I'm staying." Looking back, it wasn't the food or culture that divided us. It was my feet. But somewhere between that mutton curry and the village lanterns, I found my place. Loving Amara meant loving her world, and in India's chaos and beauty, I did. It wasn't easy, and it never would be, but as we ate, the taste of cumin lingering, I knew I was home.